Alright, here's a video review for X-Transbot's Aegis, or their version of Trailbreaker, as you can see. And he's a very plain black truck. He doesn't have the stripy decals on the sides, but functional as a truck, rolls pretty decently. And you can see one of the things that I do love about this is you can see his shoulder emplacements are built into the car. Instead of being separate pieces that you can lose, you can fully transform this guy just as he is, without anything. You get a couple of little accessories with him. You get some cracked rock and some pieces of wood, which I'm sure would make more sense if I had encyclopedic knowledge of the G1 episodes. There's a little radar dish here that can plug in into his vehicle mode, which I'm pretty sure is from the opening credits. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But, was at least seen in the opening credits. But anyway, we'll set that off to the side. And the rest of the bits are for robot mode. So, black truck, very solid, and like I said, fully integrated, not too much, obviously, with the exception of these pieces, nothing super obviously robotic underneath, although you can see where the legs and everything are when you know what you're doing. So to transform him, first off, we got to untab this little bit right here, this back piece, and lift that up. And this is where you got to kind of wiggle these out. These do lift up, but you got to untab them first. And getting everything out and about is a little bit of a pain. But these panels, you can see there's a hinge right here. You gotta, these window pieces will come out with them. Rotate those forward. But you gotta get. See, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and see if we can pull the arms out first and see if that helps. Get these things, because it looks like it's supposed to. You're supposed to just lift it up, and it does take a lot of wrestling. Getting them back in is actually way easier than getting them out. And I wish I wish they hadn't made these little tabs here, because it's super pain in the butt. Well, no, I can't flip the arms out until I get these out of the way. So hold on a second. All right, let me see if I can get this loose. All right, kind of had to pry these open just a little bit, but once you get those open, this whole assembly lifts up. And that's about the hardest part of this thing, really. There's a few more slightly frustrating bits, but getting that on tab, because this little tab goes, they need to come out, but the tab goes in there and it locks in very securely, which is nice for a secure locking mechanism. A little bit of a pain in the butt to get this whole thing started, because that really is the linchpin of starting the transformation. And then once you get that done, it's just a matter, you can separate the legs out here, and you can bring them down like this. And once you get to here, here's where it gets fun. So the foot flips out, if you can get to it. Well, we'll do that in a minute. This piece comes around and latches in like there. I find it helps with these guys to have some sort of prying tool available just to get some of this stuff started, because it's really hard to get even with a fingernail, it's hard to get in there and start some of this stuff. So this piece comes out to the side. And get it going. There's a hinge here. There you go. You pull that out. You pull this out to the side on this hinge. That allows the whole leg to come down. And again, prying tool, because this piece comes out, but it's really hard to get started on your own because it's tucked all the way down in there, and it's hard to get a finger under there. If you have a small prying tool, you can go ahead and pry this piece out. And once you get it started, it's really easy to grip. It's just getting it started. So this piece comes out, and then this little panel clicks, and you almost feel like you're going to break it at first. But you fold that panel around so it looks like that. This panel comes around into the leg like this, and right as you get down to about right here, this wheel piece flips over and folds into the leg, and then this whole piece collapses in, at which point this panel comes around and fills in that gap, and then this piece just comes down on top of that. And then you have the lower leg. That's actually a pretty elegant solution for hiding the wheels. Hoist does not hide the wheels. He just has them sitting down there. And you see you still got some ankle tilt on the foot. And there's one leg done. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Pull this out and around. Flip this piece around. There we go. Oh, hey, we did that without anything prying. All right, bring the leg down. Flip this down a little bit. Collapse the hinge. And once that's collapsed, fold the wheel over that. Oh, well, actually, before we do that, we need to get this popped out. There we go. Fold that all the way in. Flip this piece around. And then fold this around the leg. Fold that down. And ta-da! The legs are done. Rotate them around to the waist. And you can slide this. Oh, maybe it's just on hoist that you slide it. Yeah, I think it is. So we got all that done. And up here, lift these up. And then the arms come up in this whole assembly. Oh, get these out of the way. Should just untab it, lift up, and tab it from the front, and the whole door assembly lifts up and wide like that. Go ahead and fold these all the way in. Let me stand them up. Oh, you don't twist his waist around. That's right. Hoist, you have to rotate. Trailbreaker stays like that. So let's go ahead and get up here on the upper body. So you have the wheels will kind of compress in. You can fold them all the way in, but that's not how they're supposed to go. So you come out here, lift this up. Got to flip his head out here. And you have to do this just right. Push his head up through this support structure. These come around like this. And then these rotate up onto his shoulders. This whole assembly comes down. You fold the truck hood in to form the chest. Just like that. It fits right in the little groove there. And then you can, if you want, compress the wheels in a little bit just to give it some room. This comes down. You'll see there's a couple little peg holes right here. And there's some pegs on these black pieces. It can be a little bit of a pain to get them all in. And it looks like this should be able to fold up into here, but if you do that, you can't collapse these enough to have this attached. So I think this is just supposed to hang out here. But yeah, you bring these in here like this, and that just peg that little tab there onto that one, and oh, this one collapsed in. And just do the same thing on this side. Peg that together. And then bring this onto his back. Rotate his head around. Come up just a little bit more. Then the arms, these come out and rotate down like this. The fists, again, you might want a prying tool to get the fist out. And then this panel closes up, covers up the arm. Rotate the arm around, extend it. See, it extends like that. And there's the hand. Oh, his fingers. Backwards. The fingers are on ball joints right where they're fully articulated, every knuckle. They're at ball joints right where they meet the hand, and then hinge joints everywhere else. They are very easy to pop apart, so do watch that, because if they pop apart, they do tend to go all over your kitchen, just an FYI. Now see, this hand, the hands are supposed to be able to slide off here. They just slide off their little mushroom peg to swap out for other accessories. I don't want to do it because this one, as you can see, this one already snapped. And that's, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I was following the instructions, but on the plus side, not the end of the world, because you do have, you do get some attachment pieces and some weapons, so you can, like, he only has the one attachment that works with this. You get two of these things. I don't know why, because you only come with one piece, but you can give him little attachment there, so that works. And if you slide this off, which again I'm loath to do since I already snapped one of the wrists doing it, it's a very scary process of sliding this thing off. I just don't want to risk it. I just don't want to risk it. But if you slide that off, you can slide one of these onto either hand if yours are intact. And it does fold in half, so when you're transforming it, you can fold this in half and fold it up into the arm and transform him all the way to truck mode with one of these attached to his arm, if you wish. One of these little standard-looking welding attachment type things. He also comes with an alternate toy head, which again has spring-loaded earpieces for transformation. But I've never really liked this head on Trailbreaker, so know that it is, and again, it's sliding off the mushroom peg, which really don't trust right now. Hoist does not seem to have that problem. His hands popped off almost too easily off the mushroom pegs without snapping anything, but something to be very careful with and concerned about, because like even being super careful with it, and there could have been a fault in it before I got it, but and maybe it could have been entirely my fault, but you can easily break those mushroom pegs. You can see he's got some ratchets at the shoulders, although the ratchets up here are so tight that you tend to actually move the transformation joint before you move the arms in a lot of cases, unless you specifically grab the entire arm assembly structure. But he's got the ratchets there, the forward and back. It does have bicep swivels, hinge elbows. The fully articulated hands, which are really nice. You can get a lot of nice poses out of them. You do just have to be careful because they do like to pop apart, and the pieces, well, they don't even necessarily like to. It's not difficult to pop them apart if you're not careful, and they do break into lots of teensy tiny pieces, which is a bit of a pain. He does have the waist swivel. He's got the little flip up leg guard so his legs can move front to back, side to side. Got a little bit of rotational joint in there, although it does block it. Depending on how you do it, it does block it a little bit. Ratcheting knees at 2 points, so you can get a pretty decent backwards bend on the leg. And he does have some ankle tilt as well as a little bit of toe articulation as well. So like I said, scary wrist joint aside, I don't know if these are my favorite versions of Hoist and Trailbreaker that we've gotten. And again, I haven't done Hoist yet. We'll do that video next. But for like I said, there's some things I'm iffy about. There's also some things that I really, really dig about these guys. And like I said, I really like how these weapons up here aren't extra pieces that set to the side. I love that they've integrated these shoulder pieces into the transformation of the headpiece in Hoist case, which we'll see in a minute. I like that you get some different arm attachments. I like that even with that broken wrist, I can still use this guy as a figure. I just popped on a different arm accessory. And I do like the fact that if you swap out this, they made these so, I mean, like you do see a little bit of a seam there, but so it can actually transform with this on. So once you swap it out, if you prefer to have this on instead of a hand, you don't have to worry about scaring yourself with that mushroom peg anymore because you don't have to remove it for transformation. That's a really smart move. The rest of the accessories, it's nice that they throw in some little references to the cartoon. I don't know that I would have needed them. He's very hefty. He's very nice and solid. He's decently sized. Actually, I have MP Optimus here for a completely different reason. So just to give you an idea about how big he is next to Masterpiece Optimus. Maybe a little bigger than he should be. I don't know. But yeah, decently sized. Like I said, decently posable. If you're careful with that wrist peg, it might be worth it. That's the only thing that wrist peg is the only thing that I have an issue with quality-wise that scares me. I was thinking, plus unpegging it to start, that may be a comfort level thing, although I practiced this transformation 6 or 7 times yesterday, and it never really got easier. I thought I had figured it out, and clearly I hadn't when I went to shoot this. But yeah, it's a decent representation of Trailbreaker. I don't know if it's my favorite of the ones that are out there. I have not messed with the KFC. Somebody else did a set of these that I have not messed with, and I messed with MMCs and these, and I do think, like I said, I wasn't a real big fan of MMC's Trailbreaker either. I mean, he wasn't horrible, but I mean, I did like MMC's Hoist. So whatever. But yeah, if you're looking for a Trailbreaker for your shelf, he's not he's a decent representation. I do love how they install these wheel covers, how they integrated that and these shoulder bits. But like I said, I think there's a little bit of bulky backpack. Even if this could fold up in here safely, the hinges on these windshields, I like that they're attached. That makes them a lot easier and easier to position than like MMC's versions did. The way their windows would like to collapse into the car and were hard to position out. But the hinges, it's all clear plastic and it's just a tiny little pin hinge. I do feel like that's an area that could be prone to breakage later on if you're not careful. Obviously, I've already experienced the wrist peg. So, as with any third-party toy, exercise caution when playing with it. But yeah, there he is. X Transbot's Aegis, their version of Trailbreaker.